Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 2nd of July 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, also before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our JFD Bank YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of the videos that we make, and we'll always be happy to see you in our webinars, guys. So and also just a reminder of our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, where you can go in and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis, and I believe you can find those quite useful. So yep, feel free to check us out, and yep, I hope we can squeeze something good out of them. The first chart that I wanted to look at here is the CAC40, so the French index here. Yesterday the index managed to travel higher, managed to test its April highs near the 5,600 level, kind of did have a brief overshoot here, but then quickly reversed and pushed back down. So you can see that now today it's kind of currently balancing just somewhere around here, just around the 5,580 zone. It didn't quite move a lot. What's interesting here is that we're still above this upside support line here, taken from the low, roughly from the low of the 3rd of June. This is a bit of a tentative one. We do only have a couple of touches here of this, so that's why we're just keeping it as a as a gauge here, in order to kind of at least maneuver around this area. So basically, because you can see that the index is currently stuck below this 5,600 level, but still kind of balances about above this upside support line. So in a way, if this upside line breaks and we see this one sliding further, we may get a nice test of this 5,490 zone, approximately around there. But if this gets a break here, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the sellers, as it could in a way open the path towards slightly lower areas like the 5,431 zone marked by the high of the 11th of June, or even going further down towards this other upside support line, and this one's a medium term upside support line taken from the low of the 27th of December. So in a way, good potential area, good potential line to be tested. But again, I'll repeat myself, we will only consider a possible move here to the downside if we see a drop below the 5,491 level. So keep your eyes on that one. In terms of the upside, a nice good push above the 5,600 zone could potentially open the path towards slightly higher levels, and initially we will target only the 5,657. Now, just to show you what that level was here in the past, I need to kind of scroll back here all the way towards the 2018, May 2018, and that was basically the highest point of the 2018 year. So good potential area of resistance. We'll see if it actually manages to reach that, but again, like I said, we'll consider that area if we see a nice good push above the 5,600 level. Jumping into S&P500 very quickly. So yesterday the index managed to create a new all-time high. Of course, this is quite interesting to see where exactly now this is going to move. I mean, on one hand, we are quite overbought here, but to be honest, I mean, we've been overbought a few times, and even for example here in around June time, but as you can see, this continued to rally higher. So that's why, guys, for now the main thing is probably just to focus on some of these key support and resistance levels. So in a way, if we see another push higher, let's say, and we see a nice good break above the 2,977 level, let me just double check the future the cash indices right now. So yes, we are currently sitting near the 2,963 zone, so basically it's just around the same level here. So in a way, what we could do here is just continue observing this level here, this all-time high at 2,978 zone. If we see a nice good push above this of course would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could aim for much higher levels. Of course, everybody's now speculating on the nice beautiful number of 3,000, but again, before we could consider that level, we need to see a nice good push above the 2,978 level. So let's see how this is going to play out. In terms of the downside, if this suddenly drops back below the 2,953-54 zone, well, in a way we could consider a possible slide to the downside. We're not going to drag it too low. Initially, we'll just aim for the 2,930 and this 2,913.10, approximately around there. You can see how well this played out as a nice area of support previously, so that's why initially we will only target that area. But again, we will consider that area only if we will see a drop below the 2,954 level initially. So keep your eyes on that one. Gold, a very interesting one, and this is what I was talking about in one of my videos recently, where I was covering gold, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this upside support line taken from the low of the 30th of May. You can see that the commodity managed to travel lower and almost managed to reach that area, and from which it kind of rebounded, and now it's trying to at least push higher. Now again, of course, this for now this is coming in line with this scenario that with this arrow, as you can see as well, that I've drawn. So the next target, of course, is the psychological 1400 level, or maybe just slightly above that, the 1401. So in a way, if we do get a nice push above this 140102 area, then yep, we could consider a possible move higher, a little bit higher. Of course, we're not going to go kind of drastically to the upside here. The only thing is that as well, guys, if we are targeting slightly higher levels right now, be very careful. Keep your eyes on this little downside resistance line. So just in case, guys, just in case this gets a nice hold up. So that's why, as you can see by the second arrow that I've got here, it is above that downside resistance line. It's above this other key important area of resistance near the 1412. So a nice push above this could in a way confirm a possible move higher here. So in a way, we could target the 1424-25 zone, or even actually going all the way here towards the highest point of June near the 1439 zone. But again, like I said, we'll only consider those higher levels if we see a nice good push above the 1412. If this upside line, let's say, breaks and we see a drop below this upside line, ideally, in order to kind of, let's say, consider at least the downside, at least in the short run, we need to see, or should I say, we need to wait for a break below the 1379 zone, and only then we will target slightly lower areas like the 1358 or this 200 EMA. But I mean, by the time probably this could all break, the 200 EMA will probably approach the this level here at around the 1358. But again, this is a bit of speculation here. Let's see how this is going to play out. For now, guys, it is, of course, it is trying to push higher. The only thing is that the downside could be limited due to this little short-term tentative downside line taken from the highest point of June. But if that fails to withhold, a break above the above that downside line and a break above the 1412 could open the path towards the June highs. So keep your eyes on that one. Ethereum, very quickly on this one, and I've talked a while ago about this one, but it's basically now kind of playing nicely with some of these lines, and specifically with this one right here, taken from the low of 6th of May, basically, or in other words, the lowest point of May. So as you can see, this upside line kind of acted as a very nice area of support today, from which the crypto rebounded, and at least it is trying to kind of rebound. Let's see if the bulls kind of manage to pick up on this. The only thing is that now we're going to be very careful here, because it's a very tricky spot, because if it continues to slide, if we see a drop below this upside line, then, well, I mean, the level that we're going to be targeting is going to be around the 250 zone. So that's why be very careful with this one. Like I said, keep your eyes on this upside line. If it breaks and if we see it close below this upside line, then yep, the 250 zone could be back on the table. We could be testing down, but if this upside line holds, now what we're going to do here is we're going to play it a little bit safe, and let me just kind of zoom in on this one a little bit. So basically we do have this little tentative downside line taken from the highest point of June, and we're going to keep a close eye on this one. So this one here, if we see a nice good push above it, and as let's say ideally if we see a nice good push above this level right here, let me just put this one on the chart, above this area somewhere around the 296.95 zone. If we see a nice good push above that, then yep, we will consider of course automatically this is, you're considering here the 300 level, but if it continues to push higher above that, then we will aim for the 318 zone again. As you can see, previously it acted as a good area of support. So that's why, guys, for now we're going to be somewhat more neutral than anything else, and we're going to keep a close eye on some of these key potential breakout points. And as I said, in terms of the upside, what we're going to do here is we're going to wait for the this downside line to break and a push above the 296 level before kind of considering the higher levels. And in terms of the downside, let's keep all eyes on this upside line. If it fails to withhold, a break below this could open the path towards the 250 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. A few pairs now very quickly on this one. GBPCHF, very interesting developments. I talked about this one yesterday, and basically I was mentioning these two levels, these two potential breakout points. So as you can see, yesterday the level got kind of violated. This 1.2474 zone got violated. The pair traveled a little bit higher, but kind of then found good resistance near the 1.2490 zone, from which it kind of reversed and pushed to the downside again. So in a way, what we could do here is that we can actually get rid of this line and just now focus on this 1.2490 zone, because if we see another good push, and as we can see that now the pair is trying to make its way higher, if we see another good push above that, then in a way it could increase the chances to see this pair traveling further up here, potentially maybe aiming for this 1.2587 level. I talked about this one previously, so we'll keep a close eye on that one. For now, it seems that the bulls are trying to kind of take the center stage here, but let's see if they actually manage to do that, at least by the end of the day here today. So for now, keep your eyes on the 1.2490. If we see a nice good clear push above that, then yep, and especially if we get a nice good push above the 100 EMA here, shown as the green line on the 4-hour chart, then yep, the next potential target could be around the 1.2587 marked by the high of 19th of June. In terms of the downside, well, initially I had this level here at 1.2357 as the potential breakout point to the downside. Of course, that still remains. The only thing is, from the more shorter term perspective, what you could do here is keep an eye on this area right here, and let me just put this one quickly on the chart, and that's around the 1.2450 zone, so from which the pair today rebounded. So a nice good drop below the 1.2450 could in a way open the path here towards slightly lower areas, and by slightly lower areas I mean this one right here, the 1.2357 that I've mentioned previously, and it could in a way travel all the way here towards this area, but we will reevaluate this again, because if let's say we get something like this, like that we had last Friday here, where the pair kind of failed to drive below this one, or should I say stay below this level, then we could see another rebound and another push higher. But again, for now, this is looking more positive than negative, but again, we need some confirmation breaks first before we could get comfortable with slightly higher levels. The AUDUSD very quickly on this one, so it's pushing back above this 0.6988 zone. I talked about this one yesterday, and of course this is looking quite positive. So initially we did get our nice good break here below the 0.6988. It traveled below the 0.6972, but and found good support near this 200 EMA. So what you could do here now is, of course, this is our little neutral territory for now, because in a way this is too risky let's say to say that this could travel higher, could continue pushing higher, because in a way let's probably wait for a push above the 0.703031, something like that. This way the pair would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could then target slightly higher levels. Until then, we're just gonna continue observing this one. If this, let's say, suddenly reverses back down and drops back below the 0.6988, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for the bears again. The only thing is that still, even if it, let's say, travels lower, again, all eyes are going to be on the 200 EMA, because it might do the same trick again. It might hold the rate from dropping lower. So that's why, guys, if we see a drop below the 0.6988, keep your eyes on the 200 EMA. We'll see how that plays out around there. If it fails to withhold, then yep, we'll consider the next potential target at 0.6940. And the last pair I want to quickly touch on here is the EURJPY. Now this one is an interesting one, because as you can see today the pair got held near its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and near this 122.47 level, approximately there, 47.50. Even actually probably, let's even round it up towards the 50. So it got held around there. So basically for now we're gonna keep an eye on this area, the 122.50. If we see a nice good push back above it, yep, that's good news. We could see this one traveling back up here towards the 123.18, the 123 level itself, of course, initially, but for now it seems that it wants to push a little bit to the downside. The only thing is that let's wait for that confirmation break, and for us the confirmation break would be around here, around this little interesting level where the pair found good support today, this morning, and that was around the 122.20 122.12, approximately around there. So a nice good drop below this could open the path towards this little low here that we saw back on the 25th of June, and that was near the 121.60 zone. So we'll keep a close eye on that one, but we'll only consider that if we see a drop below the 122.12. so keep your eyes on this one, guys. And this is in terms of the downside, and in terms of the upside, as I said, the 122.50 could be that nice breaking point in order to kind of consider at least some higher levels. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, in my Trader's Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a beautiful evening, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.